Welcome to episode 186, Icahn Part 2, King of Corporate Raider. This is an outline of episode 186. Recap from Part 1. For the first 50 years of his life, Icahn grew up a rebel. He went to Princeton, he majored in philosophy, and then he went to NYU Medical School. Then he dropped out after 2.5 years to join the U.S. Army. His mother must be crying. Now, the new model. In the mid-1980s, he changed from risk arbitrage to corporate raider or shareholder activist. As an investor, he grew his firm from $100 million to $16.7 billion in 30 years. This is a 167-fold increase. He did very well for himself and for his shareholders. What is the difference between corporate raider and shareholder activist? Well, this is complicated. Throughout Icahn's long career, he was both. In 1985, Icahn made $50 million during an unsuccessful hostile takeover of Phillips Petroleum.
And in 1985, he attempted to take over Phillips Petroleum. However, the board used a poison pill to stop the takeover. A poison pill is a tactic used by companies to prevent a hostile takeover from taking place. These are usually provisions the board agrees to, which makes the acquisition of shares less desirable. In this case, Icahn sold his shares back to the company, earning $50 million in the process.
From 1985 to 1988, Icahn made $469 million from TWA.
Biggest and most public takeovers was of Transworld Airlines, TWA, later that same year. Icahn bought a large stake in the company. He knew they were not doing well, so he knew he could get them for cheaper, as the company was in debt of $1 billion. TWA tried everything they could to stop him from buying more shares and taking over the company, even searching for another airline to acquire them. However, Icahn succeeded and took over the company for $800 million and making himself CEO in the process. And in 1988, he took the airline private. The company declared bankruptcy in 1991 after selling half of its London routes to another airline, and Icahn resigned as chairman.
Icahn also made huge profit on US Steel and Texaco.
Such as his attempts on US Steel and Texaco. He didn't manage to take over either of those companies, but he still made huge profits through the process.
And he also made some bad investment decisions. For example, in 2004, he bought $191 million of Blockbuster Video stocks and lost.
He bought a large amount of shares in big companies like Blockbuster Video and also threatened proxy fights with companies in order to get what he wanted.
In 2015, he made $2 billion by investing in Netflix.
Is the market ready for a fall? Billionaire investor Carl Icahn thinks so, and he says the feeling played a role in his massive profit-taking in Netflix. In just 3 years, Netflix shares have risen from about $60 a share to Wednesday's closing of more than $678 per share, and Icahn pocketed more than $2 billion in the sale of his remaining stake.
And he said he made around $2 billion on Apple investment.
He had a holding in Apple, which eventually reached nearly $5 billion, which he sold in 2016. He went on to return money to investors in 2011. In recent years, Icahn has made the headlines in a few different cases.
At age 80, he's not slowing down. He was named by President Trump as one of his advisors.
More recently, Icahn was hired and subsequently stepped down as a special advisor to President Trump on regulatory reform.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave your questions and comments below. Next video will be Carl Icahn 9 Trading Rules. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.